Hey everyone, this is Mike and Kelsey at Sweet Briar Farm. In this video we are going to talk about managing bulls on a small farm. So we're in northern Michigan on just under 6 acres, and we raise Dexter cattle here because they are a small breed of cattle and they're relatively easy to manage.
I really like Dexter's specifically because the bulls are so calm and docile, and I feel like that was a worthwhile investment for us to get a Dexter bull rather than trying to deal with a bull of a like a more standard beef breed.
So we did have some questions come in about Dexter bulls and managing bulls recently, so I'm going to address those questions here. We pulled Mr. President up here for a purpose, to separate him from the rest of the herd. We are actually going to put him in with our young bull. I'll tell you a reason why we're going to do that here. And we're going to shuffle some of these cows around, but you can typically separate the bull from the cows at any time after you know that they've been bred. So we've had him with the cows since I think around July 4th is when we put them in for breeding season, and it is now mid-December. So all our cows in theory are bred. We haven't seen any action from Teddy here recently. But Dexter bulls are very calm, docile, and there's no reason why you can't keep them in with the cows during calving. I could put him in with Katinka and our newest little calf over there, and he wouldn't bother that little calf at all. Sniff it, lick it, but he's not going to try to ram it or kill it or anything like that. But we are separating him. Basically, you do that to control when they breed. So when they do calf in April, May, cows can breed back pretty quickly. In the next 30 days or so, they can start cycling and they can breed back. We don't want our calving season to start until April or May, so we put our bull in with the cows in July. So that brings us to, how do you keep the bull contained? We bought Mr. President, I think he was about 5 years old. So we've had him for about 2 years now, and he came from a farm with quite a few head of cattle, well-trained, well-managed bull. He never touches the fence, other than my weak spots in the fence where it gets crushed down because I didn't maintain the fence. Show you how easy it is to work with him here. Hardest part is always getting the halter on him. Yeah, so keeping the bulls contained, we have field fencing or goat and sheep fencing, but we keep a hot strand on the top and one in the middle, just so that they don't have any temptation to actually touch the fence. And knock on wood, we haven't had any cattle get out of our 6 acres since we first started, and we were morons. And that was actually before we had a bull. So it is pretty easy to keep them contained. But I have some tools here in my hand. I got some scissors and a brush. One of the things that we like to do, and I did this in the spring as well, is we'll actually trim his sheath hairs. And I'm not in a good spot to do this, so I'm not going to do this right now. I want him on a fence line, so he's not going to sway back and forth. You typically don't want to tie an animal like this to a tree or a pole because they can wrap themselves around. I'm right here, so he's not going to hurt himself. Take a look at everybody here. All right, scene 3. So I did this in the spring. I trimmed his sheath hairs. The sheath is just kind of like, like a knife sheath. It's protecting his penis. You want to do this. A lot of people don't, but it is a good idea to do it if you can. Get them in a squeeze chute or something like that. Trim the hairs there so when they are breeding, that penis does not get caught up and tangled in the hair, because that could be painful for him. And ruin his breeding season. So I'm gonna brush him a little bit, and then work my way down and just snip the hairs. And I'm gonna take a few cracks at this and watch myself so I don't get kicked in the head. But that's so you see I got it pretty nice and tight now. Nice and tight. So like I said, if you're going to do this with your bull and you're not used to working with him, it'd be best to have him in a squeeze shoot headlock, the way you can protect yourself. I've done this before with him. I'm not really worried about him kicking. He's got a cow here to look at to keep him distracted. So some of the things that we've learned while working with Dexter Bulls. Number one, when we're going to work with him, I'm going to go out into the paddock by myself and get him on the halter before anybody else comes out. And as you see today, he did exactly what I didn't want them to do. All the cows, they just know when I'm going to mess with them. They get all riled up, they're running around, but he's old, not old, but he's big and got out of breath fairly quickly. So after they calmed down, I was able to get him on the halter and get him out of the pen all by myself. Open the gate by myself, close the gate by myself, and then Kelsey came out. Had Kelsey come out and Maylee, her daughter, record, things could have gone a lot more different. So that's one of the things. They know people, and they know me specifically because I'm the one that's always out there fluffing up their hay or feeding them, giving them water. 90% of the time it's me doing those tasks. So he knows me. But they also are smart, and they know when I'm going to grab one of the cows. So that's one of the things on my list for the spring, is to actually have a better system where I can work the cattle through a tighter area and catch them easy, because I'm tired of chasing these things around my backyard. But if you do have a halter trained bull, have that halter ready and have it ready to work quickly so you can slip it on their head and get them cinched down quick. I suck with these things, so I had an extra big loop on it, so I was able to get him relatively quickly this time. Once he's caught, you see me walking him around here, he'll go wherever I want. He's lead broke, real easy to work with once he's on the halter. And the only time I'm really worried, not necessarily worried, but am extra mindful to stay away from him, is if I open him into another paddock and all the cows get running, he will buck and kick and stuff like that. So I open the gate, I stay out of his way, let him do their thing, calm down. You know, you got to be aware. He's a big animal. He's a bull. Never trust a bull. Never turn your back on a bull. I turn my back on him all the time. I'm just not worried about him. I'm always mindful, check my back, but you know, I've got no problem walking away from him. I've seen some videos, these bulls that will, you know, bust up this guy's side-by-side or golf cart or whatever it is. He's just not like that. So we bought Mr. President from Cheney's down in Tennessee. We took the 12-hour trip, 24-hour round trip to pick him up. We paid a fair price for him. I think the going rate for a halter-trained, proven bull, he has a ring in his nose. And that was one of the questions that we always get, is why does he have a ring in his nose? Basically, if you're going to show a bull over 1 year old at these Dexter Cattle shows, they need to have the ring, and I believe, watch out. They hook one of the leads to that ring so the bulls don't get, you know, crazy. I don't know. I don't show the bulls, but we left it in because, and say he had me pinned down for whatever reason, I could grab that ring, and in theory he would move wherever I lifted that ring and get him off me. So we kept that in on purpose. Somebody in a recent video commented that it's cruel or inhumane to have that that person's probably got 17 earrings and nose rings herself. So it's not cruel. It's just like having an earring. They got ear tags. He's bumping it on the gate right now. It's not bothering it. It doesn't hurt him. But just imagine if you had a nose ring in yourself and you got pulled on it, you would definitely follow that nose ring. So that's why that ring is there. Leo, our new bull, the young bull, he does not have a ring in his nose. And I don't plan on putting one in his nose because I'm not going to show him. And working with him as a young bull rather than a bull that we just bought, we'll have a different relationship with the young bull compared to Mr. President, even though he's my buddy. So we had some questions come in on one of the videos. I said, well, I'll make a video. One of the questions, are there any attitude issues with the Dexter Bulls? And basically, it's very rare for him to get an attitude. You saw him when I'm getting on a halter run around. There was a video from like last spring where we were moving him from the front to the back. And this is where we learned one of our lessons, where I should be the only one in the pen to get a halter on him. He was worked up and running around the small pen, and Kelsey was in there with me. And basically we had to back out, let him calm down before we continued the task, which was just to get him, I don't know, 40 yards to the back paddock here. So that was the only real issue I've ever had with him, and it was completely all my fault. I didn't have the halter ready. I put it on him wrong. I approached him from the front. Cows, they don't have good forward sight, so they see more 180 degrees from the side of their head. They don't see good from the front, so I was coming at him from the front while he was laying down. So it was all 100% my mistakes that I made. The other question the person had is, being a smaller cow, does he have little man syndrome? Or does he act up more than a larger breed bull? And the answer to that is, again, they're very docile. I don't have experience working with other bulls other than what people have told us as far as, or we've read about, like dairy bulls, like Jerseys or Holsteins being aggressive. But there's no little man syndrome. He very rarely, 99% of the time, he's just out there with his cows where he prefers to be with his cows. We're shuffling some animals around, so he's just going to be in a bullpen with the little bull. He's not going to have any cows. He'll be able to see some of them, but he'll get a little vocal at times being away from his cows. And ever have any issues handling him? And like I said, if I have issues, it's just all my fault. You just got to be patient. So Mark Cheney's words of advice working with the bull, you go in there as the boss.
Like, are there days that you go out into the bullpen or whatever and, well, maybe today's not a good day to work with him. Like he's being moody or whatnot. Or you're the boss and...
We generally go out as the boss, right? And I'm not going to give up, right? I'm going to, it may take me a lot longer, but I'll just keep messing with it until I get what I need to do, whatever it is.
They can sense nervousness, that adrenaline rush you might get. So you just got to be confident, but know when to back away and have an escape route when you are working with them. So like right now, I'm just watching him sway back and forth and staying out of his way. All right, the other question is, do we run him with the cows all the time, or does it need to be separated off? And you can run the bull with the cows all the time. We separate them just for planned breeding seasons. So we in Michigan here, we like to have the calves start in April, May, when the weather is warmer. Like I said before, he's not aggressive. I've never seen a Dexter bull aggressive towards a calf. Even our first Dexter bull that was overly wild was never aggressive to any of the calves or anything like that. So you can run them full time if you don't care when they're going to calve, but it's good to have some idea of when they're going to calve. The other question is, what age can a bull breed, Dexter bull breed? And on average, I believe it's around 9 months they'll hit puberty, and that's when they can start doing the job. So our plan for our new young bull, Leo, is to breed some of our shorter cows. So we'll have them breed back Ladybug and Junebug, Jessie there. So we're going to separate Jessie today, wean her. we'll have him breed Dr. Quinn, which is one of our smaller ones. But he'll be able to do the job next breeding season, and then Mr. President will take care of the rest of the cows. So one last thing when you gotta lose that baby weight. One last thing when you're raising up bull calves. When you have a bull prospect that you want to raise out, this is advice from Mark and Kathy Cheney, that you basically put them with a mature bull that has a good temperament, and Mr. President meets those criteria, and basically he's going to kind of teach Leo how to be a bull. And these two are going to stay up here in this paddock for a while until we eventually separate the steers from the cows, and Leo will get some lessons on how to be a bull. Just right. Come on. All right, food and water and mineral. That's a little bit of information on how we manage the bulls on our small property. In the next coming season here, we will surely have a few adventures managing these two guys. So stick with us and hit that subscribe button, and we will see you on the next one. Let us know if you have any more questions.